Welcome back everyone to the French Cooking Academy. My name is Stéphane and today we are continuing on our Lyon recipe adventure. We are in France filming from there and we're doing all kinds of specialty. Now today we're doing a sweet dish, or actually a dessert, and I haven't done those for a long time because I'm not very good at baking. But today's recipe is fancy. Simple but fancy. It is called the pink praline tart. Now, just the name, you're gonna think like, what on earth is this? So let's go through it. The pink praline tart is basically made of pink pralines, which are hazelnuts and almonds that are coated in pink sugar. And you can crush these into a powder or into bits, mix it with cream, cook it into some kind of pinkish caramel, and that's your mix. You're gonna lay down this caramel on a pre-cooked base of shortcrust pastry, ideally the pâte sablée, which is more like the biscuity style, and you end up with a beautiful kind of tart for dessert that is all pink and beautiful. So sounds absolutely lovely, so let's try it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that recipe is fairly straightforward. The only thing you need is basically the pink pralines, some cream, and some sweet shortcrust pastry I've got here. I've got a roll that's pre-made because I'm on an Airbnb kitchen on the run, so I don't even have a rolling pin to make my own, but I will give you the link to the video description. Now these are the one you may not know, you may never have seen those in your life, and this is why I love France, because you come across this crazy stuff. This thing here is an almond that is coated in some kind of fancy pink sugar. This thing here is those into a powder, and this is what we're going to be using for our recipe. Right, so I did mention that we need to have a shortcrust pastry that is blind baked. So I found that dish in the cupboards because I'm in an Airbnb kitchen, and it's a huge pie dish that is absolutely not made for that recipe. But let's imagine it is. So I've got my I've got my pastry here, and we're just going to try to put this in our pie dish, and I'm going to use this as a base for my tart. Alright, so I've put my dough, and as you can see here, my dish has got all these pie things and these shapes here. It's really not suited. But so what I've done, I've tried to make just a straight edge here, and because what's important here is just the base that I'm looking after. So once we've got that, I'm just going to make the classic little holes, and I'm going to put this in the fridge for 10-15 minutes, maybe just 10 minutes to cool it down before I put my garnish here to blind bake it. I've taken out my pastry here out of from the fridge, and I'm just going to use some parchment paper to blind bake. As always, again, not an expert here, and because I don't have this special piece for cooking, I'm going to put a bit of weight in there by adding a little bit of rice just to hold my paper. And we're going to cook this for 20 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. So 10 minutes with the paper, 10 minutes time, I'm going to take this out, remove the paper, and continue the cooking for 10 minutes. Alright, so the first 10 minutes are done in the oven, and I'm just going to try to be careful and remove that paper here and put this back so that it actually kind of get a bit golden there. 20 minutes have passed, and this is the base. So this is what we call the blind baking. If you haven't heard that, you pre-cook some pastry before adding some filling that you're not going to cook any further. Now this is a pre-made pre-rolled pastry, so obviously the look is not that perfect, and you always get a better result if you make your own. So don't forget to use the video I've got and to make the pastry rather than buying one if you can. If not, just buy one like me. And now for the filling. So we're coming to the most the trickiest part of the recipe is really making that filling. This is where apparently everything can fill, and it's all about measurement and temperature. In normal time, there's two schools to do this. So on one school, one way is to take the whole praline like this, the pink one, and to crush them into small bits, but still into bits, and then mix it with an equal amount of cream. So equal amount of praline and cream, and cook it together until the temperature of the mix reaches 113 degrees Celsius. this is the sweet spot that's going to transform into a caramel. I don't have a thermometer today because I'm again Airbnb kitchen. I don't have any equipment. So what I bought is this. And this is a powder of praline that's been sold from a shop from François Pralu, or Pralus, I'm not sure exactly, which is a master of chocolate making in France and also a master of the pink praline. He's got his own recipe using pralines called the praline, which is a brioche filled with those crushed. And it's another recipe I might show you on a showcase. But basically he proposed this product, which is pink gold. Look at that. It is pure crushed of this. It's almonds, hazelnut, sugar. And he's got the instruction on here that you can use without a thermometer. And it says to use the whole pot with 110 grams of cream exactly. And cook this for 4 minutes, 30 seconds. And apparently at that time, you got the perfect mix. And I want to try this out. I need to trust this. We need to trust the shop. He's a master at this. So I'm going to trust it and we're going to go with this and see what we get. So let's go. All right, let's do this. It says we need thick bottom pan. Got that. We need a whisk. And you need to start by bringing the cream to a boil. Oh, the cream is heating up. When you have to trust this kind of recipes, it's always tense. I'm telling you, on this channel, when there's baking, there's always an excitement. I think we're not far from boiling. Look at that, some bubbles coming in. Houston, we've got the bubbles, and I'm gonna add everything. They say you have to add the whole pot. Wow! Let me reduce the heat because that seems to be over the top. So I've added the whole pot at once. All right, it's pinky. And basically you need to wait until it goes back to the boil. So let's wait a bit. Okay, I've got everybody here to witness that this is boiling and I'm putting the timer right now, 4 minutes, 30 seconds. It says you need to keep on whisking to avoid any burns. So I'm gonna gently stir that for 4 minutes, 30 seconds and then that should be it. So let's have a look. Okay, the time is going. Look at this. 4:28, 49, 4:30. Stop. I'm stopping this. I'm taking it out. That's it. So the pan is off the heat and this is my it's more of a red mix now. And this is what you get. All right, it's very thick. It's like a caramel with all these crushed almonds and hazelnut. Now I had the idea of putting more crushed things in, but honestly, when you look at it, it's full of bits of almonds and hazelnut. And I think it's going to be overkill for me to add more. So what I'm going to do is just pour this over the pastry and leave it to cool down. All right, well, there's no two ways around it. I think we just need to pour this thing. So I'm doing the version of the tart that has a thin layer of garnish, because again there is two schools and I've tried that tart actually in Lyon in some bistros and some bouchons, and I've tried both the thick version and the thin one. Now I have to say that the thick one for me again felt a bit that overkill. Okay, I'm trying to bring you closer to the action with a spoon here, and I'm going to try to fill everything because it starts to solidify already, but there's really a lot of garnish in there. And the goal really is to have for me, I enjoy more like a thin layer of that mix. So it's, you don't want to be like have an overload of sugar, but so far doesn't look bad. So look at that. Boom. There we've got it. And it's gonna settle down like that. And we're gonna wait. Now, this is the big waiting time. You need to leave it to rest at room temperature, apparently until it's really cooled down. And then eventually you can put it in the fridge. So I'm just gonna wait at least an hour and then we're gonna have a look at it. Well, that's it, everyone. I think 1 hour has passed, and because it's a thin layer, the gooey stage has arrived, and this is, I think, enough. And we can now try to cut. So I did mention about the refrigerator, by the way. Do not do that. It has to stay actually in just room temperature, because you don't want to lose that shine. You see that mirror shine we got? So you want to keep that. So no, actually no fridge that will you know, remove that mirror shine. So knife, and I think time now is, we need to try that. So I'm gonna try to cut a piece without breaking the whole tart. Let's try to detach that lovely thing. It is gooey. Wow. So that's my messy bit, like as best as I can cut the tart, but do not panic, and because that's what you get, nice and shiny, a bit of a layer of dough, and let me try that. Wow. Now, now this is the kind of dessert that has the big wow factor, like a big punch of flavor. It packs a real punch. I mean, the almond and hazelnut, it's like makes me think of a jam slash fudge of crushed almond and hazelnut mixed with a light caramel. So if you try to imagine this, it's absolutely beautiful. It is not too heavy in that mode here, and that kind of gooiness that you see. Look at this. You see that? Up. Can you touch it? Like it's very fluffy, light, but full of flavor. Let's move it on a bit. Sorry, I'm a bit naughty there. Now it is really nice, honestly. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look like Michelin star or anything because I didn't have the mold to have it perfectly straight. But what's important is the content. It is this. The praline tart is all about the almonds, the hazelnuts, with that red sugar that makes really the mix. What was going on there? I think I like the dessert. Let's put it at this. But anyway, guys, that completes the adventure of the day. Of course, the baking adventure, the French Cooking Academy can be exciting sometimes because I'm not great at baking. But this is the recipe, the pink praline. You find all the details in the video description. Of course, if you have any questions, and drop me a question in the comments if you want to know something about that dessert. And as always, you can always follow me on Instagram. I've got a Facebook account, and if you want to become a patron on my Patreon page, it would be much appreciated. That's it for me. I'll see you all next time again for another Lyon recipe with something totally different. Take care all. Bye bye.